Op uitnodiging van de Royal Bank of Scotland was oud-hedgefundmanager en grondstoffenbelegger Jim Rogers naar Amsterdam gekomen. In de RAI preekte de charismatische Amerikaan voor 1700 bezoekers zijn evangelie. Vooraf kreeg belegger.tv de gelegenheid om hem te vragen naar zijn kijk op de ontwikkelingen in de markt. Mr. Rogers, last time you were here you told our viewers that we had the worst economy since the Second World War. What's your opinion on the current state of the economy?
Well, it's getting worse. It looks as though it's getting better, and many governments are spending a lot of money and printing a lot of money, and the people who receive that money are better off, obviously. But the overall situation is getting worse. The world is going deeper into debt, and we're building up more problems. The next time there's an economic slowdown, things are going to be much worse than they were the last time. To me, it's inconceivable that you can solve a problem of too much debt and too much consumption with more debt and more consumption. And yet that's what the politicians are trying to do.
What should Mr. Bernanke have done then?
Well, we should have let the Americans who were bankrupt to go bankrupt. Propping up failed assets has never worked for any long period of time. What America should have done, let the people go bankrupt, let other competent people come in, take over the assets, reorganize, and start over. What America's doing is they're going to the competent people, taking their money, giving it to the incompetent people, and saying to the incompetent people, now you compete with the competent people with their money. I mean, it's horrible morality. Not that politicians care about morality, but it's terrible economics. It just doesn't work. Throwing money down a rat hole doesn't work. Throwing good money after bad doesn't work.
And do you think the euro will survive?
Well, I don't suspect the euro will be around in 10 or 20 years, but I think that at the moment things are going to be okay for the euro. There's a certain amount of... First of all, I want to say, I hope the euro survives. I hope I'm wrong. The world needs something to compete with the U.S. dollar, and the euro would be perfect. Theoretically, the euro is a replacement for the dollar. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that 15 or 20 years from now it won't survive because the politicians just keep doing the same thing the Americans do. They're propping up failed countries and failed companies. That's a mistake.
Are we now looking for hyperinflation to come?
Well, hyperinflation may be here eventually, not anytime soon, though. But we do have inflation. Inflation is getting worse, and it's going to continue to get worse. You must go to the shop. You see that the price of everything is going up. Everybody watching this knows that the prices are going up. There's inflation. It's going to get worse, not better.
What do you think about the valuation of the emerging markets now? Every analyst says we should buy them.
Well, I have sold them short, partly because every analyst says we should buy them, and all the emerging markets have been very, very overexploited here in the last couple of years. So I for one, am skeptical, and I am selling them. I am not buying them.
Not even China?
Well, I own China. I'm not buying China. The Chinese stock market is about 50%, 60% below its all-time high. So it's not too high. I mean, it's down, as I said, 60%. It has not been overexploited here in the past few years. I own all my Chinese shares that I've ever owned because I expect China to be the next great country in the world. But other emerging markets have been very, very exploited. I don't have any investments in Africa at the moment. I have in the past. But as I said, I sold all my emerging markets because they've all been so... Right now, there are 20,000 young MBAs flying around the world looking for emerging markets. That's not a sign of a bottom. That's a sign of a top.
You are bullish on China. Everybody's saying there's a bubble in the property market.
There probably is a bubble in urban, coastal real estate in China. But there's many other parts of China where property hasn't gone up so much. And that bubble will probably pop eventually. You'll see real estate speculators going bankrupt. But that's a very small part of the overall Chinese economy. It's not like what was going on here in the West or in the U.S., where there was massive amount of distortion. That the Chinese, it's not happening in China that way. Some people will go bankrupt, yes, but it's not very much of the Chinese economy.